So I finally decided to do a test run on the barrel yard. I know some people probably saw the start of the barrel yard series years ago, and then I kind of just put it on the back burner, but I figure I'm going to give it a shot again here. So a couple things. I'm switching to blue barrels this time. I think the plastic's going to hold up better overall. I am changing the cutout size. Before I was doing an 11 by 11. In between the ribs is 11 inches. This time I'm doing 11 by 9. I hope that that will help the birds out in inclement weather. I am also debating on changing up a door system for them. I would really like to have the option of closing them in at night if I need to. The previous doors were just a simple hinge, and then I would use baling wire and some holes on the other side to secure it at night. Problem with that is you would have a gap between the barrel and the door that the tie cords would fall in between, so I don't really want to go that route. What I'm considering doing, since these cutouts are 10 by 11, is instead of having them like this, considering turning them this direction, and then, I don't know, maybe putting a bolt in the corner and just having it rotate out of the way, but I'd have to figure out a way to secure it on the other side that isn't a hook or something that the tie cord can get attached to. So we'll have to try that out. Now, I am going to put roosts in these. The roosts I'm using are actually out of my old barrels. They're just 2x6, and what I did is I cut them to follow the curve of the barrel, and I tried to match the curve of the barrel to an extent as best I could for what I had at the time. One thing I will point out is you don't want too big of a space between the back wall and the front of your roost, because I've had birds jump down in between, get themselves hung up or wedged in there. So if you're going to put a roost, just be wary of that. And then to attach the roost, I will just run a couple screws in from the outside into the wood itself, and it'll be all set. So the first thing I like to do after I've cut my wood is I like to make sure that the barrel's sitting on a nice level place. Reason for that is I want to know that my roost is going to be level, because I figure if it's more level, they're more likely to use it. And what I'll end up doing is I will put a screw in on this side and this side first, making sure it's level this direction, and then I'll turn my level and I will put in the secondary screws, making sure it's level this direction. Now, as far as the placement of the roost, basically I'm going to aim for, this will be on the inside, I'm going to probably put it about there so that the bottom is in line with this here, but in reality I should probably put it a little bit lower, because then the birds will have more height to stand on. So in reality the top of the roost will probably sit right about here. It'll all depend on what I think of this first one. So I'm going to go ahead and get that in there, and then we'll take some video after it's in. So now the roost is installed. I just have to take my level out of here. As you can see, that's about where the height is on that. It's just 2 screws there and 2 screws there, and that's all that's holding that in. So again, I'm just going to do a test run with 6 barrels. We're going to see how this goes. but it'll still give you an idea how to set up your tie cord yard. I decided that I wanted nothing beyond the opening of my gate. That way I've got kind of an alleyway to get in here for pushing snow, clearing tree branches during storms, stuff like that. So that's my marker, or my starting point. From there, I went 6 feet over to the center of my first tie cord. Now the first tie cord's on my old style anchor. I could have buried it a little deeper, but it's just a metal rod that's bent over into a circle at the top, and I put this ring in before I completely closed it and welded it. Then I've got a quick link here, and then my tie cord. Now from there, the next center of my next tie cord is 17 feet. Now the way I come up with 17 feet is it is 6 foot of tie cord for the first tie cord, 6 foot of tie cord for the second tie cord, and 5 feet of no man's land between them. I could probably get away with 4 feet, but I like to have that little bit of cushion. That way when they're at the end of their cords, they can't reach each other. This one is on my revised version of my tie cords. Here again we have a quick link, and then the quick link itself is hooked into another chain link, and there's basically 2 pieces of chain link. One is welded to the rod because I was using rebar, and then there's just a second chain link taking the place of that metal ring. So it's a much smaller swivel type situation, so it's not as likely to get the cord tangled around it. So that'll be my second tie cord. And you just continue on every 17 feet. Now as far as spacing your barrels, you're basically, the way I like to do it is figure out which direction they're going to get the most protection from the weather, and you're going to base your door straight off of the center of your tie cord. And I pick up my cord and I go until the hitch is at the back of the top of the barrel. This way when they're standing up here, they've got slack, they're not going to get around the corner of the barrel, and it gives them room to get inside and get on their roost. Which the roosts, what I ended up settling on is I put the screws 2 inches down from the top rib, and so that's the center of your roost.